Let's talk about zombies, talk about biting you and me. It's flesh eating, can't you see? Hey guys, it's me, Julian Greystock. I'm wearing this zombie shirt from Plants vs. Zombies. Yeah, this is a boys shirt. I am so small I can shop in the little boys section of the store. I'm not proud of it, but they have cool shirts, okay? We're gonna talk about a zombie book today! Yeah! I love zombies! Y'all, I'm a zombie hipster. I loved zombies before they were cool. And I still love them now that they are going out of fashion again. Zombies are my monster of choice. I recently read this book. It is called Feed, and it is in the News Flesh trilogy. I quite enjoyed this book, but let's get down to it and talk about the things that I liked and the things that I didn't like. I actually put it in order of things that I liked and didn't like this time. So let's talk about the things that this book did well. I loved this book for its consideration of media and the internet in the zombie apocalypse, because this book takes place long after the initial outbreak. A lot of zombie stories take place, or at least start at the actual zombie outbreak. I always have a soft spot for those kind of stories, but this one is long after the zombie outbreak has occurred. Zombies are just a reality of the world in which these characters live, and the internet and news media has gone on to grow and evolve in this zombie-filled future. And as a result, the YouTubers and the bloggers have essentially taken over the news, which I really liked quite a lot. As a YouTuber, I am maybe a little bit biased. The action scenes in this were great. They were few and far between, but they were adequately tense. Zombie action scenes are always a good time. I also quite enjoyed the characters and relationships, especially the brother-sister who are the main characters of this story. They are an adoptive brother and sister. They were adopted when they were orphaned by the initial zombie outbreak. So they're not actually like blood related to each other, but they are very close as a brother and sister, and I love their relationship. The world that is created for this book is really engaging, and even though, as we'll talk about in a little bit, there were a lot of info dumps about it, I love this world and I would love to explore more of it. This book also gives you a lot more of the science behind the zombies. Now, it might not be great science, but most of the time when you have a zombie story, the zombies aren't even really scientifically explained. They just are. They're just zombies. Nigel is here. He's not a zombie. He's Batman. The story that's taking place is actually not about the zombies. It's about our two lead characters as journalists following the presidential path of this senator from Wisconsin and being like his news team. And I am from Wisconsin as well, so I was pleased by this. This book also had no like main story romance. There is a romance between one of the side characters and another side character, but not a lot of like heavy romantic themes. So if you're looking for a book that's not real romancy, our lead character, the one that we follow most of the time, is the sister, and she has a disability, and that is really cool to see her dealing with it and the way that her brother comes to her defense when people try to give her a hard time because of it. And I also quite related to the lead character in that she's a very standoffish person. She doesn't like touching, she's kind of a crabby pants, and I'm like, same girl, same. The last thing that I really quite liked about this book is a spoiler, and I do want you to read this book, so I'm going to put a spoiler warning up. River Song, do the thing. When River Song goes away, that means that the spoiler will be over. This is a really big spoiler. This is an end of book spoiler. So get gone if you ain't want to see this. At the end of this book, our lead character, the one whose viewpoint we've been primarily looking through, is killed. And honestly, I've read books where the lead character is killed and none of them have done it as well as this one. It was justified, it was meaningful, the scene was gut-wrenching. I loved it. Usually when I read a book and they kill off the lead character, it's because they are going to be some kind of messiah or some sort of martyr. This character, while she does die kind of saving the day, it's not like that, and damn. Spoiler over! Yay! So now let's talk about what kept this book from getting those coveted 5 stars from me on Goodreads. While I was loving the characters, loving the story and everything like that, I was not loving the constant info dumps about the world. So much. Long stretches of it. And repetitious. It really felt like the author did not trust you to remember anything, and I was like, I remember. I was there when you told me this the last time. We don't need this info dump again with slightly different phrasing. I was rather disappointed with the animals in this book. Be warned, there is a cat in this book, and we all know what happens to animals in stories like this, if you're sensitive to that. But in this book, animals, especially larger animals, are a real liability in their world because the zombie virus can affect them. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I want to see a zombie world where the animals are useful and not just played for the pathos when they die or a liability that get the other characters killed. In fact, I wrote one, and it might even be up on my Wattpad right now. It's called The Gun Horse, and it is the story of a horse and a dog during the zombie outbreak. Links in the doobly-doo. It will be free on Wattpad for a while before I decide what I'm going to do with it, so definitely go give it a read. Unfortunately, a large portion of this book is about politics because we are following a presidential hopeful as he tries to, well, become president. I mean, in real life, I do pay attention to politics, but I don't really like reading books about them. There's a woman running for president in this book, and I loathed the way that she was treated. I believe this book was written before our most recent, presidential run began. But the woman running for president is just like this vapid ex-model who's running on the platform of she has nice tits, and we're all supposed to make fun of her, and this book seems to be saying that, no, a woman could never be president. The only reason she'd get this far is if she had big titties, and I hated it. I'm salty about that. This gripe is actually just for the recorded book version, which is what I listened to. And there were, I believe, 2, maybe 3 voice actors involved in it. I can't remember, but the problem was that there were accents required for this story, and neither of our voice actors could do accents. It was bad and hilarious and cringy. So if you are going to be listening to this, be warned about that. The bad guy in this story is cringingly obvious and evil, and I'm waiting for a bad guy with some depth here, people. Now, while I appreciate that in this zombie future, fiction writers are considered an important part of a team, every news team is supposed to have somebody who's, I forget what they're called, like a factual or something like that, they all have dumb names, who is in charge of just like the hard news, unemotional reporting of the news. There's an Irwin whose job it is to get the exciting news. They go out, they poke zombies with sticks, they find exciting things to do. That is the brother character. And then there's what is called a fictional, which is the dumbest name of all, and they are also part of the team, and their job is to create fictional content, poetry, stories, things that give people emotions about the world in which they live. Which is fine and great, and I'm happy that fiction is being respected in this made-up future, but I still don't understand completely why the fiction is an important part of a news team. So there you go, hopefully this review was not super duper long, and if you're into zombies and you also happen to be into, say, making internet videos, you'll probably enjoy this book too, so I really recommend that you do check it out. Also, while you're checking things out, check out all of my social media, links in the doobly-doo. And remember, kids, that I post new videos here Mondays and Fridays. Feel free to stop by. And I will see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!